Hands up. Who wants to hear some news of the day? Nobody put their hands up. Why did you click on the video if you didn't want to? I don't understand why people click on videos they don't want to watch. Okay, so while I'm sad now, let's discuss the news of the day kind of stuff. So for people who may have been worried about Scott Sabourin, me being one of them, the good news is he's recovering with a fractured nose in the hospital. I'm thinking concussion. If you saw the picture he posted on Instagram, a cut he's got right here, I would be shocked if he doesn't have a massive concussion as well. But he's going to be okay. He's going to recover, and he's talking about wanting to get back on the ice soon. So good for him. Logan Brown is also out with an injury right now for Ottawa. So this is an opportunity for Bobby Ryan to get back into the lineup and make an impact. And they're going to be calling guys up, and we're going to see some movement around this roster while Sabourin and Logan Brown are both out. Again, wishing Sabourin the speediest of recoveries. Jesperi Kotkaniemi's been put on the IR. It's been a really rough sophomore season for him. The good news is it's called the sophomore slump for a reason, and hopefully that's all it is. Ryan Poehling's been recalled. So, with Poehling in the lineup, what is this going to do for him and potentially for Montreal? Now, Poehling didn't make the lineup out of the training camp situation that we all expected him to make it through, and he didn't. So, this is his opportunity. And other hockey pundits are saying it's his opportunity. Absolutely. And according to the practice lines that are out there, he's centering the third line. We'll see if that's what actually happens in game, but it looks like that's what's going to happen. In the color me purple for being shocked category, that's not really a thing. I just put a bunch of words together, and salad. Brad Treliving doesn't like the Lucic suspension because, of course, he doesn't. When has a general manager ever come out and gone, "Oh, yeah, thank you for suspending our player. We're very grateful." I heard during a game the other night, I'm trying to remember who was freaking out on his way to the penalty box, and they were like, "Oh, he doesn't like that penalty." And then they kind of laughed and said, "Well, what player does? You're going to see him going, 'Hey, thanks for the penalty, ref.'" And I thought, I said that in a video last week. Thanks for watching. And it is kind of funny when you see a guy protesting and you just picture it the other way. You picture like a GM coming out and going, "You're right, Lucic is a dirty player. I'm so glad that they suspended him." So, for Calgary, they're not happy. They're going to be without Lucic for a couple games. I don't see how it negatively impacts them a whole lot. If they want that kind of influence out there, they could just bring in Zach Ronaldo for a couple of games. They could, and have a very similar. He'll score as many goals, and it'll be just as good. I don't know. I'm just saying. Anyways, we'll see how things turn out for the Flames over the next couple of games, and if they play really well and they win without him. I mean, they didn't last night, so they've got the one more game. It's not really a huge deal. Anyways, Hornquist has gone to the IR for Pittsburgh because they got players back, so players have to go on the IR. That's how this works. With a lower body injury, and they're saying longer term, but they didn't put him on LTIR, which is long-term injured reserve. They're just saying it'd probably be a bit of a longer term. They're just not saying exactly how long. So Hornquist is out, and Dumoulin could be out of tonight's game because his wife is expecting their first child. Hasn't happened yet, so he may very well not be playing for them tonight. I'm going to go ahead and say probably not. I mean, if she had the baby this morning, he could be there tonight, but you just let him just say, just enjoy your day. Well, we can play without you for one day. Just enjoy your day. I would think most teams would probably say that. Anyways, we'll see if he's in the lineup tonight or not. Scandella's on the IR for Buffalo. They have a lot of defensemen, so they can probably absorb that loss for now. And there's been rumors. They've never really stopped. I just haven't been talking about it in videos. Rumors that they're looking to move a defenseman. And Risto's name keeps coming up, although some of those rumors have died down since he's had a half-decent start. The team's had a very good start, and players are usually happier when you start winning. It's funny how, you'll hear, "Oh, nobody wants to play in Vancouver. This team sucks." And then they're really fast out of the gate. I'm not hearing anything about how the team sucks and how nobody wants to play there. Winning will make people like it. Winnipeg is another example of that nobody wanted to play in Winnipeg. Then everybody did, and now we're starting to hear, "Oh, people don't want to play in Winnipeg." But we'll come back to Winnipeg in a minute here. Jake Muzzin returns tomorrow night. Tavares may return tomorrow night. I haven't seen a confirmation he will, but it's likely he returns tomorrow night as well, so Toronto starts getting healthy. And I wanted to discuss as well and just throw this out there. We talk a lot about rookies, just in general, day-to-day discussions about hockey. Quinn Hughes in Vancouver, Cale Makar in Colorado. We talk about Olofsson in Buffalo and his incredible start with the 6 power play goals. Nobody talks about Ilya Mikheyev in Toronto for the most part. And what's weird about it is this. We all talk about how Toronto media just inundates us with Toronto everything all the time. And it does. And it can be kind of obnoxious. But I don't hear a lot about Mikheyev yet. And yet, when I looked at, there's a trophy tracker website where they try to predict who's going to win awards. And right now, they have Mikheyev as your Calder winner. Last year, they did correctly predict Pettersson. Now, some people may say, oh, Pettersson was an easy choice. But Darlene would stand up and say, oh, contraire, my friend. So, does Mikheyev get the kind of respect that he deserves for the fact that he stepped in as looking like a veteran for Toronto? He's been an excellent addition for them. And by contrast, does the general manager get enough credit? Kyle Dubas takes a lot of flack for the contract he gave Marner, and I understand it. However, he did bring in Mikheyev. So, it's worth a conversation about whether or not he gets overlooked. Dustin Byfuglien, this whole thing keeps spiraling. So when he had his ankle surgery, apparently they found a broken bone in his foot, and he wants to get paid while he's recovering. He's saying, this happened while I was playing hockey. You guys should be paying my contract. The Winnipeg Jets are countering with, you didn't come in for your physical in September. You didn't come in before training camp. You decided you're going to sit out. You're not sure if you're going to return or not. You him and haw back and forth about whether you want to return or you don't. And then you got surgery and you didn't ask us first. So we're going to keep you suspended without pay. Apparently, this may end up going to an independent arbitrator. Now, I know there's a lot of people who are coming down on Byfuglien. I know there's a lot of Jets fans who've turned against him. But I was watching a segment on Tim and Sid last week with Nate Burleson. Nate Burleson, I'm 99 point. Let me just double check. Okay, so Nate Burleson, who's co-host of Good Morning Football, CBS NFL Today, and he was 11-year NFL wide receiver. So I wanted to make sure I got that information correct. He's on Tim and Sid, and they talk about football. But they got to talking about injuries. And they got to talking about how your team doctor may not have your best interests at heart. And he said that when he played football, he came in thinking he was going to be playing forever. And he was superhuman, and he was unbreakable. And football proved he was very, very breakable. Now, the NHL and the NFL are very similar in that they're very physical sports. They're fast sports. And you get collisions that take place and all these things that go on. And your team doctor may lie to you. And he mentioned how he was told that he sprained something, or this is sprained, you're going to need a couple of weeks. This is okay, you're good to go. And then when he went to a normal everyday doctor and they did x-rays, they went, you broke this. And he found out that he had broken his ankle. He had separated his shoulder. He had gone through all of these injuries that team doctors kind of went, you're fine. And they give you your pain medications, and they'll send you right back out. And in this case, in the NFL, it's on the field, right? But we've heard about this happening with hockey as well, that teams are investing a certain amount of money in the player. They don't really care as much about the health of the player as they're looking at the team and going, we need you out there, out you go. And we were talking as recently as 20 years ago about guys getting concussed in a game, and you could see they were concussed and they were still playing. So, it was standard. It was, he was seeing stars on that play, and then he's still in the game. And that was just 20 years ago, which may, to some of you watching this, may seem like forever ago. It really isn't. And what Nate Burleson said really it was very, very strong, and he went through every single injury he'd had and how he'd been treated and how his eyes have been opened to how athletes are viewed by teams and how you're a commodity. And so for Byfuglien, has he gained some weight? Probably. Yeah, that sounds about right, according to all the reports from Jets fans here and there. Could the guy be a jerk? Yeah, that's possible. Sure. That's because pro athletes Some of them are. But at the same time, if he got hurt playing hockey, and if the Jets doctors looked and went, hey, fine. Do I necessarily believe they didn't find anything? No. Do I think that maybe they might have overlooked something? Maybe they didn't look as hard as they might have if they were a regular family doctor? No, not really. It may very well be they looked and went, hell, he's fine. The angle of that break and what was broke there, it's not anything major. It's no big deal. You can break a bone, and in some cases it's not a big deal, and in some cases it is. And he felt some discomfort when trying to skate late in the summer, and that's how we ended up here. The Byfuglien situation is difficult. And again, hearing about this and what's going on, it does feel to me like what Nate Burleson was talking about with the NFL. And, National Football League players have a life expectancy that's 10 years below that of a regular person. And that's stunning. Now, I don't know the numbers for the NHL, but I would think that with some of the passings that we've seen in hockey, it wouldn't surprise me if some of the physical punishment you take playing hockey could shorten your lifespan. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And if we factor in, people who end up, addicted to painkillers and it moves on to other things, and then they're no longer with us, that's a problem too. So, it's really easy to look at what Byfuglien's doing going, oh, he's just greedy. He just wants to sit at home, eat chips, and put his feet up where he's got his leg in a cast and get paid. I don't see it that simple. I don't at all. Just seeing the way that NHL and NFL owners have treated players over the years, do I want to believe that everybody has the best interests of the players at heart? Absolutely. Am I that naive? Absolutely not. It's tricky. It's a very, very complicated issue because I get it from a general manager's standpoint. I get it from an owner's standpoint. He looks fine. Get him out there. We've got to win some games. We're falling out of a playoff race. We need you out there. I even remember a friend of mine I used to go to church with, him saying that he had a separated shoulder. He was a goaltender in Junior A. And his backup was so awful in relief that with a separated shoulder, they actually called him and said, do you think you can play? Because even with one shoulder, you're probably better than the guy we've got right now. So, and he never went to the NHL, but man, did he have some aches and pains from that. And that shoulder bugged him. Like he said, yeah, it's never going to be 100% right again. Never got drafted, didn't make the NHL, nothing like that. And it's stories like that make you realize there is sort of a transactional thing that goes on here where, yes, they make a lot of money, and it's easy to kind of get cast aside. It's a very, very complicated situation. I don't know how it turns out, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, because I think it's an interesting conversation to have, and I do think people need to just leave the gut reaction out of it and just look at it on the surface of a guy who got hurt playing a sport and the sport suspending him for not showing up, and just how complicated this really is. It's not that simple. But let me know your thoughts. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.